it. We're moving up. We're moving up.
I like it. I don't know if Rod can see the new setup yet, but I can't wait.
Can't see the new setup.
Check it out. All right. We're going to jump right into it. Yo, I get excited for this. I do.
Yeah.
But, hey, welcome to the Woodward Pistons Podcast. It's your boy, Detroit Kool-Aid, joined weekly by Mr. Jeff Iafrady.
What it do?
Hey, morning Woodward alum. Actually, man, what are you now? Just Mr. Everything?
Couple of alums. I'm trying, man.
Mr. Everything.
I want my face in front of the people. So I'm constantly going.
No, I'm definitely proud. Definitely proud to see a lot of the guys here doing their thing. A lot of the guys. They're really, really taking advantage of the opportunities given.
Yeah.
And they're running with it. I'm not seeing or hearing any wild takes either. Not yet. Not yet. You know that if you do have one, or whether you do or don't, you know that Easy is going to definitely misclip you. But I'm watching. I'm lurking.
Hey, that's my boy.
Hey, shout out to the Woodward Heavyweight. Shout out Easy. Hey, shout out to their show.
Yeah.
Shout out to their new show.
We got live now.
Yep. And I'm just, making sure we get all of the other things out the way before, the
grand entrance.
I think we're ready. Let's drum it up. Hey, and now we're going to welcome in the legend, Mr. Detroit News, Rod Beard. How are you doing, sir?
Gentlemen, good morning. I'm doing pretty good.
Hey, have you had that coffee?
I have not had the coffee yet.
Oh man. Jeff, we're not doing our job, man. We gotta.
So you might get anything today with no coffee.
Yo, is there any way we can like airmail them or just speed transit some Birmingham roast or something?
Uber Eats, drop off something. We'll just drop off the coffee.
Something.
This is pre-caffeine Rod right here.
This is pre-caffeine.
Yeah. I've got my tennis in this morning, so I'm awake.
Oh, okay.
That's
been
right.
moving around already.
That's right. You know what?
And shaking.
Next week we're gonna get into that. We're gonna get into everybody's hidden sports talents, everybody's past, present, and future glories as it relates to sports and feats and things of that nature. Because I know that it changes for everybody, man. When I was a kid, I was a football star. But basketball was just the sport I was better at. And now that I'm older, it feels like I want to get into golf. Hey, we're going to talk about it next week.
Hey, me too.
Definitely. Tell us in the comments, man. Let us know what you guys are into sports-wise now. Tell us what you were into. If you're in high school or play high school sports, tell us what you're into. Definitely interested to hear it. But
I got a tournament next week. I got a tennis tournament next week in Ann Arbor.
Where at?
It's going to be at the Michigan Varsity Complex where they play tennis, the tennis center.
Yo,
Rod, are you the favorite heading in?
No, come on, no. Not even.
He's the heavy favorite.
Here's the real question. Will there be a dance competition?
Oh, he's definitely the favorite then.
There is not a dance competition. There would just be some mediocre tennis being played.
Just tennis being played.
Oh, man. Hey, look, go back. Look at some of the old Woodward Pistons podcasts. You'll understand. Y'all have to get these inside jokes. But look, guys, I bought my bag. This is one of my best finds ever, I believe. I love this Detroit Pistons logo. We talking about thrift shop finds. Last week, I went on an excursion, man. I went in with hopes. Yo, I came out with treasures, guys. I came out with it. I'm serious. I'm so serious. And I wanted to share it with the people before we got into Johnny Davis and Dyson Daniels. I got to share with you guys some thrift shop finds. And let me know how I did. And I want to ask you guys. As well. And hey, people, I need you in the comments. Let me know. What are some of your favorite sports finds at the thrift shop? Or what are you hoping to find every time you go in? But I gotta let y'all see this. Now, I know Jeff has already seen this stuff. Rod, you've seen it, right?
Yep.
All right. We're gonna start off with, let's see here. Bro.
Oh, the Tayshaun bobblehead.
The Tayshaun
Prince bobblehead.
The Tayshaun
I like
Prince,
that a lot,
the Palace Prince bobblehead. I remember when these came out. Bro, come on. How much you think I paid for it?
$7.
Hey, look, it was supposed to be $5. That's what's on the ticket. I had my kid.
$2.
I had my kid. Exactly. I had my kid walk up with it like, I have $2. Literally, he had $2. And the person was looking down at him like, okay. And you know what's funny? I usually tell my kids like, yo, we're not getting toys. They found this in their toy aisle. So they're just in there bringing stuff. I'm like, no. Then they bring this, and I'm like,
and then you're like, go finesse the guy.
Yes,
just go finesse.
sure, you can buy that. So I don't even know how much I can claim.
$2. Did you even give him $2, or was it like 8 quarters?
Yeah. They'd pity it more if it was 8 quarters.
Real talk. He had the 2 singles because we had just exchanged his coins, or else it would have been the coins, man. So for real, it saved us. It saved us. It's funny though, man. We give them change, then they come back like it's theirs, and they're like, "Yo, can we get $2?" And we're like, "Wait a second, we're losing money in this somehow." But that's another thing. But hey, this one right here. Come on, man.
The Tupac.
Come on.
With the Red Wings jersey. That is sweet.
$5, gentlemen. $5. And I think my favorite of the bunch, I was just telling the lady, I was like, look, I want to buy this shirt. I think that this logo is making a comeback from our Tigers. And I think it commemorates one of the best moments in Detroit sports history, period. When I saw it there, I was like, oh my gosh, I don't have to spend $30 or $40 on this shirt. Guys, tell me how I did. It was marked for $9. I got it for $7.
So what I'm hearing is
that it is a sweet shirt. It is a sweet shirt.
You spent $12?
Yeah.
$15, something like that.
That is like
$14. I'm dead serious.
Not bad.
I'm ecstatic. I'm
impressed, man. Like that.
I need you guys to tell me it was good. Goodbye.
Oh, that's a good. All good buys.
Yeah.
Man.
Oh yeah.
For a total of $12. I mean, that's like dad savings. Like, you know, those dad. You always once you become that, you get to that point, you just know how to save money. Like me, I probably would have just grabbed the bobblehead, paid the full $5. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
That's why you need kids,
it's some
Jeff.
finesse
You
in
need kids.
What'd you say, Rod?
You need kids. If you don't have kids, you don't know how to do. You are paying full price for stuff.
Okay, that is true.
Hey, it works, Rod. I'm sure you've been there, done that, huh?
It depends on the day. You get the cute kids, but Mom, I want a Happy Meal. Okay, well, all right. Well, you got $2. It's the same thing. It's the same hustle. Well, you got $2. Can I get the? Oh, I only have $2. And you know what? I did it. I did it last week. I was trying to get into a baseball game and I didn't have any cash, and they only took cash. So I didn't want to flex with the Detroit News press pass and just, I'm just going to enjoy the game. I'm not writing anything. And so my son was there, and it happened to be one of his teachers, and she's like, "Oh no, come on, yeah, you're lucky your son is good looking." And I'm like, "Wait, what? Okay, well, we're in. All right, doesn't matter."
You're lucky your son is good looking.
That one works. That's legendary.
Yeah, that is.
Dog, Young Rod is legend too.
Yeah, I was about to say, Young Rod has his own press pass.
Give him a little.
He has his own press pass, I bet, dude.
Give him the little drum roll.
Yeah, I need to dig in my wallet and find mine. He's got his.
That's awesome.
Oh, that's awesome. Jeff, bro, tell us about your thrift shop finds, man.
Dude, I don't get as lucky as you at thrift shops. I try to find like Piston stuff related, and I found some Piston shirts, but for the most part, man, I go there and I get like blank tees, basic shirts. Like the stuff you got with your trip,
quality.
It's sweet. I never even seen that Tupac Red Wing collab ever. I've never even seen the shirt. I didn't even know it was a thing. And then you got the Tayshaun bobblehead, which I've been looking for bobbleheads too. Like I almost ordered a bobblehead online the other day, and then you got one in the thrift shop for $2.
Look,
like,
bro, that one is it was sitting on the shelf right next to the D-Mac bobbleheads that he gave everybody. That's where it sits right now, man. D-Mac and Tayshaun.
I got the D-Mac one, but Tayshaun, that is sick.
Yeah,
that is sweet.
What about you, Rod? Man, anything you've found? Any hidden treasures?
It's never anything good when I go. I always go when I try to pick something up, it's already been picked over. So it's like, Jeff, I get a blank shirt or something that I can press and make my own shirt out of. But you would never find, and that Tiger shirt is fire, and the Pac shirt obviously is. But the bobblehead, if I had just gotten a bobblehead, I'd have felt like I had a good day at the thrift
Me
shop.
too.
That's where it started.
Me too.
I was on cloud 9. Honestly, I think the
You
bobblehead
went 3 for
empowered
3.
all of the other purchases. I really do, because when I saw that, I was just like, no, dig deeper, man. If your kids can find a bobblehead, you can find something. So I was like, you know what? Let me get in here. Let me start scouring. Let me start looking. And when I saw the Tiger shirt, I was like, oh my God. My heart melted.
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
telling you guys.
I
I was in Royal Oak, and there is a Detroit themed shirt shop, memorabilia shop. I was literally about to buy a shirt that looked like that for like $35. So I'm sorry I didn't patronize you, but I am glad that I did patronize a charity, an organization, so a nonprofit organization. Right? Shout out to that. But hey, we'll let the
And the
Pistons
bag, too.
sit up there, yeah.
That
But
is too.
I did want to get into something really, really brief before we get into Johnny Davis and Dyson Daniels. So I think that they're two of the better defensive guard prospects in this draft. But we're gonna get into it. I need a heat check here though. I need to ask Rod, and I don't know how much I can depend on Jeff in this. I feel like I need a more mature perspective here. All right, listen. My sister got married. Remember, I told you guys I went down to Alabama, right?
Yep.
Look, bro, if you didn't sleep through the alarm, I would include you on this. I gotta ask.
That is
I gotta
the
ask
truth.
Rod.
That is true.
No, I need you guys. I need
That's
you
true.
guys. No, I need everybody. I need every perspective here. Okay, look, she got married. Remember, I told you guys we saw those teal jerseys. I saw some Piston fans down there. It was pretty cool. A lot of them just liked the way that the teal jersey looked. But,
Right.
They were kind of hip to the Pistons. But it's my baby sister. I love her to death. I'm a part of the bridal party.
This is going somewhere.
And Warriors and Celtics are on. We have not one, not two, but 3 devices at the table going. All of them got the game on. All of them. No, I'm serious. Look. I'm serious. We gave them the rehearsal. We gave them gifts. We bought the tuxes. We bought all of this stuff, right? We're giving them our time.
You're there.
We're there. We love them. They're playing cha-cha slide. People are having fun and doing other things. We got the game on.
Who's we?
I don't want to throw other people. I can't throw other people underneath the bus. Listen. Shout out to the party, man. Shout out to the other groomsmen that were there. They were dope, man. They were dope because one guy was like, "Yeah, my parents got this."
Yeah, you're like, I'm just gonna watch.
Seriously, he was like, "Look, man, my parents got League Pass. I'm about to have it up on all of our devices." And so he literally a tablet first, dude. And it was funny because when he first came by, we were looking at pictures of the wedding. I'm like, "Oh, that's cool." Turn my head again. I'm like, "That's even cooler, dog. It's the game." And so we're just sitting there looking at it. My sister comes by. We're like, shh, get back to the pictures and everything. But I don't know, man. I felt like I was doing something wrong. I was like, I need somebody. I need at least Rod. Look at him. I need Rod to let me know, man. Am I doing it right or did I do something wrong here?
It's technically a charge, but it's 2 feet in the restricted area. No harm, no foul. I mean, you roll with it.
So this is one of those. The dunk was so vicious that the ref is just like, I didn't see nothing.
No, this is you want to call something because it looks like a charge, and he definitely got ran over. But then when you go back and look at it and you think about it, it's the finals. If it was the first round,
You can't
it's
make
the
that
finals.
call.
It's the finals. It is feet in the restricted area. No call. Let's go.
Let's go. All right, look, Jeff, I'm gonna bring you in on it, bro. Foul, no foul.
I don't think it kind of like what Rod was saying. It depends, I guess, because you said they were dancing at the time, so it wasn't like, like the best man's giving a speech, or were you watching it during the best man speech too? Man,
probably.
Were you really?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, you know what? No, I'm going with I'm sticking with my answer. I'm on your side. All right, I'm on your side.
Look,
I can't because I haven't been. It's not at a wedding, but I've been in situations where I've watched the game regardless on my phone. So I get where you're going with it. But
look, it was on during the speeches. I don't know how much we were looking. It was on. It wasn't like we could hurry up and just turn it off.
Imagine it's
here's
too loud.
What's up, Ryan?
Here's the questions. Are you the best man?
No.
It's good then. You don't have to give this. You don't have to give a speech. It's not that you're going to miss anything specifically with this. I think you're good.
Hey,
he's not talking to you anyway. He's talking to the group.
And look. This was the thing here too. I had my device in a position to be able to record everything. So every now and then I would go and post something and tag her and all that stuff with the videos and the pictures. Does that make it a little shady, or is that like, hey, you know what? I'm still engaged somewhat. You guys are making me. Rod is like, you know what? Kool-Aid, you're pushing this, man.
The fact that there's a lot more.
Does she listen to the pod? Because you're giving this all away now.
She is a supporter. I probably shouldn't be saying this stuff on here. She is a supporter. You know what? We'll just make sure somehow that we block her from this episode. But yeah, you know what? I think I'm giving away too much stuff. Hey, look, at least I made sure to get the videos and the photos on her good side.
And did you get on that dance floor eventually?
I did.
Then you're good.
No, I definitely did.
You put in your time.
To do that.
You put in your time.
Bro, and remember, from our dance topic, I don't dance. So it was more than. But hey, look, man, the lady was looking good. Had to be out there on the floor. She's like, I want to go dance. I'm like, nope. Not by yourself, you're not. I will be out there looking crazy. But she ain't gonna be out there by herself, dog.
By yourself. No, I get it, man. I get it. I would do the same thing.
I want to dance. Nope.
I'll pass.
Like no, it's together or nothing, right? That's what you signed up for in this stuff, right?
There you go.
That's very true.
But look, man, I appreciate you guys helping me through this. My conscience feels a little bit more clear now. I feel ecstatic and just excited about this next topic.
I'm sure the comments will agree with you too.
Hey,
we'll
definitely,
be checking them.
Definitely, let me know. Hey, and if you've done this, let us know about it for real. Let us know about it. But we've had people throughout this entire process tell us, hey, why you guys not talking about Johnny Davis? And I've heard a few Dyson Daniels, but Johnny Davis just seems to be somebody that keeps popping up in the comments and the replies, almost directly. We get tagged in things all the time.
Yep.
And when I looked at his game, I understood why Johnny Davis is being talked about at this stage. It's not a knock on him as a player, more so as it is just the guys in front of him probably deserve to be there right now. You know, it's an interesting draft to me. I keep going back and forth on if this draft is deep, and I think it depends on what you're looking at. You know, it's very, very top heavy in that top 4 or 5. I'm going to put Keegan Murray in that other side. I'm gonna have you at your top 3. You have Jaden Ivey, you have Keegan Murray. After that is where I start to see kind of role players, kind of rotational players and things of that nature. And Johnny Davis would probably be, just in my opinion, on the you know, after your Ben Mathurin's. You probably have to take him after Shaden Sharp.
Yeah.
That's just my opinion.
It's really pick your flavor with them too.
It's a little tricky
yeah,
for
you, I was
you,
gonna
right?
say, because it's all debatable after 5. To be honest with you.
Yeah.
It's all what flavor of ice cream you like, and Johnny Davis has the scoring ability and the defense. And again, I'm not a Shaden Sharp guy at all. You can't convince me that somewhere around the 6, 7 pick, then I feel like there's value and you can take the chance. But if you're top 5, you have to hit a home run with your pick.
Right.
And I'm not taking a chance on, again, not having seen his workouts. If he could be in there, Donovan Mitchell in these individual workouts, and we just don't know. But from what I have seen, and from just my common sense, I would not risk a top 5 pick on him, not knowing what he looks like.
And that's a fair point, too. I think with Johnny Davis, the first thing that stands out, you talk about his defense. That's kind of where, if you want to make the argument out of all these guards available, Benedict Mathurin's another one. When I think of Cade Cunningham and I think of what will be in a couple years, you don't want Cade to pick up the best opposing guard. I mean, all the time, you don't want to be drained physically. But you understand with Johnny Davis, he can definitely grow into that role. He's a dog, man. Like, he put up 37 against Jaden Ivey and 1 on the road at Purdue. So, like, he's got those. He's got that dog, but still, also the thing you're missing with Johnny Davis is I'm looking for someone to space the floor, man. Like, we need more 3-point shooting, and that's kind of where he struggled. He's a mid-range killer. He can go get a bucket. He's not the most athletic, and I think him lacking a 3-point shot and not being as athletic as the other guys kind of push him more down to the top 10. But aside from that, he has all the fundamentals, man. I love him a lot. He put Wisconsin on his back. But still, like Rod said, for those 5, you have to bank on those guys. And Jaden Ivey, to me, I think even Benedict Mathurin I'd slightly favor, just because Benedict, I know he can play better off ball, just in terms of fit. I don't know about overall player, but for the Pistons, I would prefer a plethora of other guards over Johnny. He's probably top 4 or 5 guard for me if I'm talking about the Pistons.
You said a couple things there that are in my notes. That interest me. So I'm glad that the other minds are kind of seeing it as well. Yeah. And his lack of explosion, I thought that could limit his offensive effect or his arc. He didn't seem to be the best at necessarily creating for himself. Though when he gets into that mid range, he just seemed to be absolutely deadly. He is the player that I don't know if he winds up being that guy standing in the corner. If he's going to be as effective as we thought Ben Mathurin could be, and some of the other prospects, if they wind up in these catch and shoot situations, he didn't seem to fare too well in that. Now the mechanics, they looked good. I couldn't figure it out, and he seemed to in the big games shoot way better. I mean, like night and day better.
He'd play like a random school and shoot 3 for 19. And then he'd play Jaden Ivey and put up 37. Like, that's a big.
Right. Yeah, it's a huge gap. Right. I wanted to ask you about that at all, just from your perspective, seeing the pro game, seeing the college game, and being close to basketball, as close to basketball as you are. What do we make of that split? Johnny Davis on the versus top 25 teams is averaging literally 25 points, 9 rebounds, shooting like 50% from the field and close to 40% from 3. But his overall stats, is I know we didn't get into that, is 19.7 points per game, 54% field goal. I'm sorry, 19.7 points per game, 42% field goal, 30% from 3, 8 rebounds a game, 2 assists, 1 steal. Some changes when he plays against these top 25 teams. What can we take away from Johnny Davis as a player seeing these things, right?
Yeah, the first takeaway is that he's a gamer, is that he doesn't shrink under that pressure, that if you need a bucket, he's going to go get you a bucket. And he can kind of turn it on and off is what I would take from it, is that if you're playing Rutgers, you don't necessarily need to score 25. Sure, you would go out and want to see him score 25. But against top competition, he relishes and cherishes those games. And we see that from Cade a lot, is when he played against the other rookies in this class, his numbers went up a little bit more. So you like to see a guy who takes on those individual challenges and understands when a game is big and when to turn it on. But again, where's that consistency? You want to see that every day, even if it's a little bit lower. It doesn't have to be 25 against everybody, but even 20, 22, something like that. But again, I like it. I think it's a mean streak, if you will, in a guy, that when he's playing against a certain team or against a certain player, or he knows it's a big game and you count on him to shoot or to score a little bit more, that he's able to do that and come through in those situations. And maybe you don't have to do it all the time, because this isn't a Wisconsin team that he's going to have to drag along like a piano behind him. He's going to be able to rely on Cade and rely on some other guys on a pro level.
Yeah, you know what? That last statement that you made, that's really key to me. A lot of these prospects that we're looking at, their teams were not the best, similar to Cade Cunningham's. And a lot of the knocks on Cade Cunningham, and a lot of the people stated, I believe you said some of the same things when we were going through this process with Cade and looking at him in the draft, that his team and the offense he was in, the lack of spacing, these things played a big part in why some of these negatives or knocks could be attributed or applied to him. We all believe that the NBA spacing, better coaching and development, better focus and things of that nature, and making this your number one. It's the only thing you're doing. There's no books. There's no this. There's no that.
Right.
We all believe a player of his ilk will take advantage of that. What I get from Johnny Davis, Big Ten Player of the Year, is somebody who, and Rod, I kid you not, you say he plays, with a mean streak. I put that in the notes, player who just plays with a confident mean streak. That's what gets me. That's what gets me. That defensive prowess, he talked about it in his interview with Mike Schmitz from ESPN. He said, I focus on defense before offense.
Yeah.
I that's just what I do. He said from a young child, he said that his like one of his early coaches told him, your defense has to be right. That's what needs to be A1.
You can't control if the shot's not falling, but you can control your effort and your ability.
100%. Well, yeah, he said, you know what? I might go down here and miss a shot, but I know I'm going to go down here and take one away. from the team, whether it's rebounding,
And I
whether
love
it's
that.
strapping up, whether it's getting into the passing lanes. He's the guy that we don't have to talk about defensively. Oh, all he has to do is this, or oh, we can put him in a good position to this or that. I believe, man, oh man. I believe he comes in right away and challenges Killian as that best perimeter defender on the team right away. If somehow he was picked 7th, if the Pistons got that pick or a later pick, obviously at 5, that's not the selection you make. But his defense, it just, I don't know, man. It's something that I kind of salivate over. But
Yeah.
it reminds me a little bit of Gary Harris, who could shoot the 3 a little bit better. He could absolutely, this was kind of the things they were saying about him coming out of college. His defense was just absolutely phenomenal. And I know that's not a guy, it's a guy who, when he's playing well, you wouldn't mind having in a rotation.
Right.
Does Johnny Davis, though, does he have that gear? This one I want to ask you. I'll start with you, Jeff, and then we'll go to Rod. Does he have a gear to be better, though, to have a better arc? Do you believe that Johnny Davis can be a bona fide starter in this league? Can he improve on his threes? I'm just kind of throw some things out there and let you talk about it. Some of the things that we believe he needs to improve on, like his ball handling. Do you believe Johnny Davis possesses that talent or that skill, similar to Saddiq Bey, to make that jump or that arc or to add to his game?
I think the most important way to determine those things have to be the interview process, like actually getting to know Johnny Davis. Because if you look at like Jaylen Brown, tons of guys, they were never great shooters coming out, but look at where their arc is now. Like Jaylen Brown, he's a great shooter now, and that's the difference. Like you get guys that are willing to work, and I feel like Johnny Davis is that type of player. Like he's not gonna, he's gonna come into the league. He shot 30% this year at Wisconsin. I think he gets even better. And if you have a guy that plays that hard on defense, has that type of mentality, steps up in big games, he has it. It's just about applying it and working at it. And clearly, man, I mean, from his freshman to sophomore year, he had that Keegan Murray-esque jump. Where same thing with Keegan Murray, man. If you could take a jump like that, you have work ethic. It's really just about, can you improve your 3-point shot like you talked about? And I think he can. I think what I always say this too, who are you when your shot's not falling? I know what Johnny Davis is when the shot's not falling. I know he's going to give the other team hell on defense on the other side of the court.
Great point.
So even if his shot's not falling and you're going in, remember, you're going into a team, it's not like Johnny Davis is going to, New York, or he's going to a team where they're going to be like, all right, Johnny, we need you to be that dude. With Detroit, who's that dude. He's just more, you're welcoming it into what they're doing already. They're building. So I think it'll be better, honestly. If Johnny's the pick at 7, I wouldn't be mad if it was Keegan Murray at 5. You take Johnny at 7. You get a great shooter like Keegan Murray at 5, someone that you can, that will develop into a great player. And then you have a defensive, just perimeter lockdown pesty, can come in and start right away. But yeah, man, I think he has it, because you got to look at how the player thinks, how they approach the game, and I think Johnny has that dog in him. So I don't lack confidence he'll get there. Yeah,
with the jumps that we see him make, with the mechanics, with the basketball pedigree, his father playing in the NBA and such.
Right.
Rod,
depends on where he goes, though. I got to add that.
Yeah, depends on where he goes and what he's asked to do. If he goes to a franchise that's kind of void, they may put too much on him.
Yeah,
they just might. If he comes to the Pistons, I could see him being put in roles where he's a specialist, similar to Patrick Beverley. Just go out there and hound, similar to like what they used to do with Mike James.
Yeah,
go out there, hound players on defense,
like
play
Marcus
hard,
Smart, those type
make
of guys,
your offense on defense. Yeah, that's what I see out of Johnny Davis, and the reason why I want to kind of spend a little bit of time on him, even more than Dyson Daniels, is because I do believe out of the things he showed in those big games, when you look at his full games, I see a different player than the player that people may have some questions about. But the questions that come in those non-big games are the reasons why.
Yeah,
like we all stated, he's a little bit further down. Rod, I want to get to you. What do you believe he can achieve at the next level? Do you believe he can improve on some of these weaknesses that we are seeing in his game that he kind of improved upon when he played in big games? Which Johnny Davis are we getting at the next level?
Yeah, I think teams will want to work with him on that, and you can question that and say he has a fire, and sometimes that motor isn't there in big games. But as long as the skill is there and the talent is there, from a Pistons standpoint, I think the issue would be that he's not uber athletic, and when you look at a Ben Mathurin, you see that same athleticism there that you want. And so the 3-point shot is there. So you're willing to sacrifice the defense because if he's playing with Cade or he's playing with Killian, that he has defensive help. He doesn't have to step in and be a defensive stopper the way that some of those other guys would have to be. So I think that's the part that teams would look at and say, well, hey, if his strength is defense, let's build on his defense and try to make that offense a little bit better. For the Pistons, it would be, hey, we've got a ton of defense, especially on the perimeter, that we can develop, but we need scorers. And that's going to be the big thing for them is, can he be the scorer that he was, whether it's from three, whether it's from the midi, whether it's somewhere else? Because again, it's still too hard to project what this team is going to be. You tell me whether they have Jerami Grant or not, and I can tell you what the pick that I would rather have. You tell me whether they're bringing back Jaime and Frank Jackson. I'll tell you what I want the second unit guards to look like. So I think that's the hard part of this. And just looking at it in a vacuum, that, yeah, Johnny Davis is good, but like you've said before, he's below some of these other guys because of maybe that lack of athleticism and the lack of that three-point shot. And that's specifically what the Pistons are looking for.
That's a great point. It's a great point because me and Sean had this conversation yesterday, and we're talking about, Cade Cunningham too.
From half court.
Like, this is a guy that can shoot the three, Cade Cunningham, but he also lives in the mid-range. Like, he can hit mid-range jumpers. So if you take a Johnny Davis and another guy who loves mid-range shots, that's kind of where it draws me away because I want more spacing. Benedict Mathurin is like we're talking about Ben a lot. That's a guy that can come in, can either, he didn't hit a whole lot of mid-range, but can space the floor. And that right. If he's in the corner, if he's on the wing, top of the key, whatever it is, that Cade can have more space to work. With Johnny and Cade in the backcourt, I would have to be confident that Johnny can develop a three-point shot, because if that can happen, I can sell myself on it. I know athleticism is another thing they need. So, again, it all goes back to that. Like, Ben checks those boxes. So if we're talking about Benedict Mathurin or Johnny Davis, really it is pick your flavor. But for me, and to what Rod said, for fit, Ben Mathurin, for just what he brings, man. Yeah. That's what we're lacking as a team. So
no, I think we're pretty much all in lockstep on this prospect, Johnny Davis. For me, if I could be confident that the mechanics are there, the work ethic is there, he wants to be a good shooter, he's going to work at it, and he's going to add that to his game and get it up to, say, a comfortable 33 to 35, 36%, then I would feel a lot better about him being a solid 3-and-D guard, combo guard out there, because with his mid-range, that's where it becomes really, really, really awesome. We talk about in the past, Cade Cunningham potentially needing somebody to, if they can't be a good ball handler, if they're not a great ball handler, at least be able to play, make, or score. I could see him being somebody who catches it in a pinch at the top of the key or cutting through and, into shot clocks, things like that in the mid-range, being able to catch it and just hey, mid-range it. I believe that there is offense. We saw it with the guy. Not that he's ripped, guys. I'm not saying that, but we saw what the Pistons were able to scheme and do at a time where the NBA wasn't really doing a lot of mid-range, and they still, guys who find a way to get in that mid-range, they have success. I love Devin Booker, I see Devin Booker just operate in it, and that's what I'm gonna keep saying it. That's what, to me, reminded me of Devin Booker in Cade Cunningham's game from college, was his ability to get into that mid-range over and over and over again, and no one could stop him. Yeah. And with Johnny Davis, this is the difference between he and Cade Cunningham. Cade could get to that spot. He could pick it and get to it. He has the ball handling, the speed, the athleticism. Where he lacks in athleticism, Cade Cunningham has shown a sneaky good first step. Yeah. A sneaky good, or that hezzy that just absolutely separates him and the defender. So I haven't seen that really in Johnny Davis's game, where Cade Cunningham, that's what say, hey, he's not that athletic, but people, no matter his speed or not, his footwork, whatever, they just can't stay in front of him. He's getting to his spots.
Absolutely.
Yep. And so, that for me, with Johnny Davis, I think does that kind of sum it up? Is there any more words on Johnny Davis?
That's all I got.
Yeah.
No, we all mutually agree. We like him, but not enough at 5'7". I mean, maybe 7, you can argue, but still, if Ben's there,
we talk about him because, there's been some reports of other teams interested in Jerami Grant. And if the Pistons decide, you know what, we have the guy we want at 5, and though Mathurin is available at 7, we believe we could potentially get, say, Dyson Daniels or Johnny Davis lower, plus maybe another guy. I don't know how they're, how the deals wind up. I saw there being one, and I have to go back and look at it. I apologize, people. I will have. We're going to look at this next week, some potential trade scenarios in the draft based on what we've kind of seen out there. But I saw one potential, someone that had 2 first-round picks that might have been interested in Jerami Grant too. So, all the different proposals go up. And that's the thing, if we did something like that, say we got Jaden Ivey or say we got Keegan Murray at 5, and we see, some of these guys are lining up the way that we want at, 10, 12, 14, 15 or whatever. That's where Johnny Davis, Dyson Daniels, and those guys become very, very interesting. And with Dyson Daniels, he is a guy that if he did not play in the G League, I believe we would be miffed. We would probably be like, we just took a guy in Killian Hayes. Let's, with the international prospects, let's make sure they understand this game first. But Dyson Daniels, I believe he kind of showed he can play this game.
Yeah.
He showed he could play this game. 6'7", 6'11" wingspan, but 195 pounds.
Yeah, he's got that LaMelo Ball build.
Yeah. Yep. And I think the comparison that I saw a lot was who's his brother? I don't know why I'm blanking.
Lonzo?
Was it Melo? No, it was Melo.
Melo? Yeah.
It was Melo.
Yeah, LaMelo.
I think that's his player comp that I keep seeing. 11.6 points a game, 6.5 rebounds, almost 5 assists, 2 steals, and 0.8 blocks. Those are those stocks. He's almost had 3 of those a game.
Dialing phone numbers in the box, man.
He is. Defensively, he's just there. Offensively, a guy similar to Johnny Davis, but his stats come in the G League where he's playing against NBA-level talent and prospects that are at just a higher level of competition than college. Right. So I put a little bit more into this. This is him making the jump. His first year in this type of a system, 45%, 30% from 3 at 3.4 attempts per game. Defensively, he's just sound and super aggressive.
Imagine a backcourt with him and Cade, man.
That's the scary
6'7",
thing,
6'7". Both basically 7-foot wingspans.
Just enough, I think, just athletic enough. But again, we always have to do this because Dwayne Casey is the coach. And for some reason, people think the system is catch and shoot. I don't know why fans think that's the system. Yeah. But if you wind up in that situation, you have to be able to do it. And guys, do you know what Dyson Daniels shot in catch and shoot situations? Just before we kind of get into this.
38.
Oh no.
I was gonna say similar.
That's
I was
very
gonna
beneficial and gracious. You're such a good man.
Hey, if Rod's off, I'm off. I was going to say 36, so it was probably what, like 30?
28%.
Oh, no.
Oh, no. Even lower.
Oh, no.
What that tells me is he needs the ball in his hands, and that's not no problem with that, but he's a playmaker, and that's probably why they compare him to LaMelo. And right there, I think everyone can mutually agree that's a tough fit with Cade. I mean, that's tough because – Cade can play off ball, but I want the ball in Cade's hands. So I'm at a loss right now because with Dyson, it's enticing, but again, it goes back to the same argument we've been making all show. It's like, do you take him at 7?
Yeah.
No. It's like I like Ben, I like Johnny Davis. So again, to your point, if you're down at 12, 13, 14, 15, whatever it is, yeah, you look at him, but do you? But is it a for real thing? Like, I don't see that as a fit much.
For me,
get what I'm saying?
This pick even goes further because you got to look at where these guys slot into the bench, and it's just like he doesn't even. To me, I don't even necessarily see the fit next to Killian. You know what I'm saying? Like
you can't play off ball.
That's what I'm saying. It just intriguing, very intriguing talent because his defense is it's vicious. It's vicious. I see him get up into people's jerseys. And I see him not have to expend a lot of energy. I see Johnny Davis hustle, and we all know he has that mean streak. But it looks like he expends so much more energy because the measurables just aren't as big as, as much as Dyson Daniels, who sitting at a 7-foot wingspan just about, and he's 6'7". He can just sit back similar. When I see his defense that he's playing, it reminds me of Tayshaun Prince's defense. Being able to use your measurables to kind of sit back, survey, and force people into tough shots and being able to pick up the block on it more times than not, or at least force them into some type of erroneous shots. And so defensively, I don't want to dismiss Dyson Daniels, but offensively, you see the flashes, you see the tools against NBA-level talent. He put up 12 points a game, but the shooting numbers, they were woeful.
That's tough.
What are we doing with Dyson Daniels, people?
No, see, and what I don't like about him, and I got to run too, but the thing I don't like about him is that he seems very mechanical. He's not fluid and athletic. A lot of his stuff seems like it's almost a robot or an android doing the move. I want to see. So, and I don't want to make these comparisons, but when you see Ben Mathurin make that same play, it's very fluid. It's very so. It's almost like it's the dance by numbers thing. Left foot one, right foot two, move over, do this, and so it's slower and it's just not fluid. And I think athletically, NBA defenders are going to cut that off for him, where he's going to have a counter move to do something against that because it's not quick, it's not fast, it's not intuitive. Almost, it seems like it's very measured and very paced in what he's doing, and I just don't know how that's going to translate in the G League. Fine, in the against when you got Bradley Beal or you got somebody like that who's guarding you, it's just going to be a little bit harder.
You got Killian Hayes guarding you.
I mean, yeah, even that.
Yeah,
even that.
That's kind of what just I don't know. You know, when I look at them, I hear people they get kind of excited about the measurables, and you know, I get it kind of, but I don't know, man. I don't know. Even at a lower pick, I would definitely, just me personally, go Johnny Davis. Yeah, probably 10 times out of 10. Before I would pick Dyson Daniels. I definitely would. I don't see him necessarily. I know that through this process we've tried to we've tried. I see you smirking, man. We've tried to say how these people could fit. And I told people we would talk about Dyson Daniels. We would get into the footage. We would get into the games.
I was gonna ask Rod, would you take Dyson or Shaden Sharp?
Oh, this is a great one.
If you're in that situation, Rod, you're not very happy. I'll just let you know that.
What pick is it? Tell me what pick it is.
Okay, you're at 12.
Ooh.
Let's just say
I'll
randomly.
take Shaden Sharp. If he's still on the board, I'd take Shaden Sharp at that point.
Oh, okay. I got Rod. 12 is he's right though. If he's still on the board at 12, damn. I mean,
that's value. That's value at that point. You're not trying to hit a home run. You're just trying to hit something in the gap. But if you're at 5, then we need some runs scored here.
Look, do we got like 2 more minutes with you, bro?
2 minutes. Let's do 2 minutes.
Hey, look, no, I gotta ask you. Deandre Ayton, man, what are you feeling about these odds?
I think they're going to at least try. They will make the phone call. They will make the effort to try to see what's there and what the number is going to be. I think there's going to be a lot of teams that are going to be in to try to get Ayton. And I think they'll make an aggressive push, but they're not going to break the bank. I think they would have a number in mind to say, here's what we're willing to do. And the calculus changes too if you're having to do a sign and trade and throw in some other assets with that as opposed to just signing them outright. And being, if you throw a max at them and you don't have to put anything else with it, then that's fine. But I think their preference would be to do a sign and trade. And I think that's maybe where the Pistons tap out and say, hey, we're not going to give you anything for him. If they go out and get Mitchell Robinson, like we talked about before, if you get Mitchell Robinson for less, then you get some of the same player.
Yeah.
My question too would be like, and I saw the reports that Phoenix wants to do it. They'd like to do a sign and trade. What would that even look like? Like, what would you have to fork up? Because if you're Phoenix, I want to rob you. Like, I want to get like everything out of it. Because if I'm losing a guy like Deandre Ayton, give me 2 first-rounders, give me this. Like, what do you think it would even look like, Rod? To be honest, like, I know Jerami Grant would probably be in there.
And I don't want to do it. Yeah, Grant's in there.
Grant and maybe a pick, or you don't want to give up any of your young guys and a pick for Ayton unless you really feel the vibes that he's going to be that dude. And I don't know that that's the sentiment that they have, because again, you have other options out there that you could try that would be just as good for you. So that's just my thought, is that I think they're going to look at it. They'll kick the tires a little bit, but when they get some sticker shock from other teams that are bidding on them too, then I think that's where they can tap out on that.
Yeah. And you kind of answered the second question I was going to ask you, and that was just, I don't want to see Jerami Grant involved in that type of a deal. I believe that Jerami Grant to Portland, even Jerami Grant to Atlanta would be much better prospect, especially with free agents out there like Mitchell Robinson.
You get 2 picks and you can go sign somebody. You'd like that.
Yep. I mean, so we're kind of all in agreement on that one. I like DeAndre Ayton. We've talked about it before. If you could just sign him, slide him the blank check. But as it relates to trading a Jerami Grant, I can't do it for that.
Yeah,
not at all.
Yeah, not for that. Not for that one.
Nope. Hey, Let's get that drum roll going, man. Hey, yo. As always, thank you for the time, bro.
Appreciate you, Rod.
Till next time.
Appreciate it. We'll see you next time, guys.
Yes, sir.
Well, yeah, and I agree with what Rod was saying too about Deandre Ayton. Just in general, like I've been echoing this, and I love Deandre Ayton, but for a sign and trade, like that's where you lose me. Like if we're talking, if we're negotiating, and you mention the sign and trade, I'm out because I don't know what the Suns, they have all the leverage, and I hate giving other teams leverage. If they have the leverage, it's going to be like a young player or a first round pick and Jerami Grant. Like I'm not about it. So if you can't sign him in free agency, then Mitchell Robinson. I mean, there's going to be plenty of options you can go out and get.
The only hope is, can they really call his bluff? Can they really afford to call his bluff? Or do they need to, if the Pistons say, you know what, we're throwing him the max, do they really want that? Or do they believe we can still trade him by draft time?
Right.
I'm hoping that, hey, boss is in, Mr. Stick. But, I'm hoping that, the Pistons can just slide them the blank check and they just say, you know what, we're out. We don't want this. But if because all this noise about them wanting to sign and trade, it seems relatively new. It seems like as we get closer to the draft, that type of noise has started to pop up.
I think they're realizing how much interest DeAndre Ayton has, and they're like, well, we're definitely going to trade this man and sign and trade him, because if we let him just walk, whew, I think they'd match, even if let's say the Pistons offered him like a fat contract.
They're gonna match.
It's like, if I'm the Suns, I'm like, I'll match it, because what am I going to get in free agency better than DeAndre Ayton? I want to stay in this conversation of being contending for a title, and I'm just going to let my number one former overall pick just walk.
No, they're trying to win. You're right. They're trying to win a championship.
That's why they want to trade.
Can't just let them go. So
absolutely,
there was a time when we believed we could just, let's slide them the check. I know Rod and I, we talked about it on earlier shows, but as this thing has progressed, we've realized DeAndre Ayton is just not a viable situation. I think you have to kick the tires out of respect for the type of player he is, and just to see what can happen, because if the market changes, the market changes. Yeah. But there's going to be some desperate team that will throw a young player in a pick or a couple picks. What is it to one of these better teams that have a couple first rounds or a first round and a younger player, they can just throw and say, you know what, DeAndre Ayton puts us at the top.
What if
easily?
I'm about to blow your mind right now.
Hey,
imagine the Portland Trailblazers give up that 7th pick, go get DeAndre Ayton.
That's
trade
Nurkic. The nuclear situation. We don't need that to happen on any level.
Because now we get screwed from both ways. We get screwed from not getting the 7th, and we don't get DeAndre Ayton.
Bro.
And I'm just I
thought you was gonna say, what if the Bulls went after him? Because that's another team that I'm like, you know what? They're talking about losing some of their players. They're talking about not potentially having Zach LaVine. That was a team, and I'm just like, yo, get these proposals out of the East. Get them out of the Central.
I get you.
But yeah, Portland.
Because then you lose your.
That's just a worst case scenario for draft day.
Then you got to look at the Hawks and be like, hey.
But then they're gonna say, no, we're just giving you 1 pick.
Oh,
you think about how that stuff goes. Like it will,
like dominoes.
It dominoes, man. Yeah. Because the price would be set for Ayton in this draft. Right now, when we look at the potential players that could be traded, Grant is one of the ones at the top of that list.
Absolutely.
I'm hoping that Ayton is somebody that is held until after the draft. That there are teams that are saying, you know what, we want to see what young talent we can get. We want to see what other deals we can get. We want to see what people might not be tendered, their contracts or whatnot, just to see where they fall before they say, you know what, we're going to jump into the DeAndre Ayton sweepstakes, especially if Phoenix Suns are going to be playing games like this. We want to trade. And I get it. You're right. They have to do that. That's a great front office. That's them saying, you know what, we're gonna get out ahead of this thing.
Yeah.
I wish the Pistons did something better with Blake Griffin and Andre Drummond in those deals. I really wish that they did something much better with how they managed the end of those contracts and get them off the books. But that is something for Phoenix to look at. Do you want to be saddled with that contract if something don't work out? I wanted to get into the K zone, and in this one, it's going to be still draft specific, draft related. And it's like, look, man, if you're not a consistently good shooter as off guard next to Cade, what do you want that guard to possess more of? Freakishly good athleticism or 3-point shooting? You
said if he's not good at what? Already,
if he's, I'm saying this off guard next to Cade Cunningham. If they're, no, this is what I'm trying to say. Let me run this back. My fault. Would you rather that off guard be freakishly good athletically or consistent shooter?
Oh, consistent shooter. No doubt about it.
Is that what we face with?
We have a freakish athletic guy who's not a good shooter in Diallo, so I'll take the 3-point shooting.
Is that what we face when we look at Jaden Ivey and Keegan Murray though? Because there's some people who they equate that breakdown. That's why I asked the question that way. I'm sorry I fumbled over it, but that's why I asked it that way. Does this boil down to Jaden Ivey is just athletic? He can kind of shoot, but he's not a shooter. He's not a consistent 3-point shooter. He's not a consistent floor spacer. Whereas Keegan Murray is this floor spacer that can give Cade Cunningham a much better dynamic on the floor as it relates to shooting.
Part of me, and I get where you're going with it, but it all kind of goes back to the point of Jaden Ivey. Yes, he's athletic, but he possesses so much else in his game. Like, I think, you talk about him in transition. He's a great finisher, obviously, but he's also an underrated passer. And he improved his jump shot like over 10% from his freshman to sophomore year. So he's getting better. That's what I look at. Like, Diallo's been in the league for quite some time now. He's not a great shooter. I don't think he'll ever be a great shooter unless he consistently works at it.
Yeah, the
but
mechanics.
Jaden Ivey's 20 years old. Like, he's going to get better. So if you ask me it straight up, you got me. But again, both of those things go to Benedict Mathurin as well. Like, he's a good shooter. He's athletic. So if you really want to boil it down, that's the guy. But between Jaden or Keegan, I just think it's more so ceiling for me. I'm a big, what's your upside guy. And I just feel like Jaden Ivey's ceiling is too attractive. And I get it. The floor, Keegan's floor is a lot higher because, even if he doesn't turn into a superstar, you're getting a solid player.
Right.
Guys, we have the 5th pick. Like, you don't want to be back here. Like, you don't want to take a Keegan and then you don't get that much better, and next year right back at, you know what I mean? Like, I want to swing for the fences. Give me a guy that can turn into a superstar. And for me, I think it's Jaden Ivey.
Because we can. We have Cade Cunningham. And honestly, I got myself with that question too. When I look at it, I'm like, yeah, we want a consistent, shooter and floor spacer next to Cade Cunningham. But man, when I look at what Jaden Ivey presents, all the different facets, not just, what we think he can be as a floor spacer, just on offense, he's not Johnny Davis.
Right.
He's not that guy. His athleticism gives him a first step that gets into space and can take full advantage
Morant,
of
like
it.
that twitchy Ja Morant type first step, where he can just blow by guys effortlessly.
Exactly, man. Donovan Mitchell.
Yeah.
I mean, these are the things that separated these types of guys. When people say, oh, these two guards they kind of look like Dwayne Wade. That's what I'm looking for. How twitchy they are, how they are in space, how they are competitively. You want to see when another player steps on the court, who are they? And I know that Jaden Ivey, he lost some of those battles. He won some of those battles against some of the better players in the Big Ten. But, bro, he played his heart out every single game. And when you see what a guy like that, I don't think that he's a player, and I want to make this distinction too. I don't believe that Jaden Ivey is the type of basketball player who is depending on his athleticism. I believe he's a good basketball player who is using his athleticism to further supplement his game. And that's what I believe Dwayne Wade was. When he first came into the league, his athleticism was absolutely crazy. And people said he's not a good shooter. Leave him open almost. We saw him, to your point, and what I believe Jaden Ivey can be. I'm not saying he can be Dwayne Wade. That dude is legendary. He won that championship in 2006.
Yeah.
He won that championship before any of those other guys saved Darko from that draft class. Seriously, with what? Shaq was kind of hobbled in that.
Yeah, the older
series.
Shaq.
Yep, he did it before LeBron. I'm
Facts.
just getting my LeBron digs in.
Facts.
But, to your point as it relates to Jaden Ivey and what we see as it relates to his ability to improve and want to be better, that's what Dwayne Wade did. He did not just rely on athleticism. He was a good basketball player.
Right.
That's what does it for me with Jaden Ivey. The focus on shooting, the focus on getting the development staff in here, like John Beilein, among other people that are focused on helping these prospects become better at their weaknesses and better at fitting the system, which is, hey, sometimes you might stand in the corner and shoot. And I'm excited for that. I'm excited for what that will mean for Jaden Ivey. I really am.
Yeah,
I really am.
because he's going to be doing. If you take Jaden Ivey, he's not going to just be in the corner as well. Like there's going to be such situations where he is, but for the most part, they're going to utilize his skill set, with the basketball, making plays for others. And I talked about this on the pod as well. Like when you look at the Celtics right now with Tatum and Brown. When Tatum or Brown get into early foul trouble, or they get hurt, whatever the case may be, or they're resting, You put Brown in, he handles it. He'll keep you guys afloat or get you a lead while Tatum's off the floor. And then Brown comes out, Tatum comes right back in, Tatum holds it down. Imagine that scenario with Jaden Ivey. Like, if Keegan's on the floor and Cade's off the floor and it's just Keegan, Murray, and the rest, I would rather have Jaden Ivey out there because not only is the defense going to focus on Jaden Ivey, he has the basketball, he can make plays for others. He's so electric in transition. Like, that's going to keep your team afloat. We talk about how bad this team is without Cade. Like, that's going to be the balancing.
So fit-wise, I get it. What you're saying is...
And even together, by the way. It's not like just off the floor, obviously, but that's going to be a benefit. Absolutely.
100. I mean, I get it. What I'm picking up is this. With Keegan Murray, he's somebody that when you sub him into the game, if he's not already the starter, you hope he's a starter. But if Cade comes out, it almost every time is going to have to be for Killian Hayes, for a ball handler or facilitator.
Yeah, because Keegan hasn't shown the ability to create for others. Like, he's just not there yet. Now he can get there, but if I'm taking a player out of college, I'm not. If you average 2 assists, I'm not going to be like, he can get there. I mean,
Right.
I saw Jaden Ivey do it. You know what I mean?
You saw him play make.
That's the difference.
Yeah, especially towards the end of the season. As he got better and started to draw more gravity, more focus from the defenders, you saw him be able to play
make the right play.
Yeah, and that's what you look for. Like, it's more than just highlight watching. It's when we actually get into the games, when we actually look at the tournament games, when we look at these things and you see, okay, I get it now. Same thing with Cade Cunningham. We already know you put better shooters, better players around them, just marginally better. If Killian can just, we say, get to consistently 34, 35%.
He's a triple-double guy.
Cade Cunningham just looks even better.
Yeah.
Looks even better. So it boils down to if by some weird circumstance, which, look, I'm not going to be shocked or surprised if Ivey and Keegan Murray are there for the Pistons at 5. And let us know in the comments, who are you going to take?
Now,
if Ivey and Murray are available at number 5 for the Pistons, who are you taking? Me personally, I got to go with Jaden Ivey. I like the upside. I like, beyond the upside, what I know he's going to do in NBA spacing. We saw what Jalen Green did with his athleticism, a little bit smaller frame, not even as much twitch. Jalen Green put so much more effort and energy into his offense and to score than Jaden Ivey has to. And we saw what guys like Frank Jackson and Jaime can do in this offense, in this NBA spacing. I got to go Ivey.
I'm in agreement with you. I think the interesting question would be if Jaden Ivey goes 4, what do you do at 5? And for me,
Mathurin is kind of crept up there, man. The more
Mathurin is in that conversation. I think Mathurin deserves to be in that conversation. Certainly, I'm a Sharp guy, so Sharp's in that conversation. But I think Benedict, Keegan, or Sharp for me, like those 3 guys make the most sense at 5.
Yeah.
Like, and I get the risk, but again, I already told you what I'm about. All right, I'm about swinging for the fences. I don't think Troy Weaver's about that, so it's probably going to be Benedict or Keegan Murray. But it's an interesting question because I think it's very plausible that the Kings but they take Jaden Ivey. I think that's certainly the conversation. It might be Keegan Murray right there for us.
True that. And you know what? I believe that Troy Weaver is a swing for the fences type of guy. They said when they drafted Killian Hayes, they knew that he was a project. They said that we're going to work with him. We're going to develop him. And they took him at 7.
And I said this as well. This is something I echoed. It's when you look at when they took Killian, they acquired that Saddiq Bey and Isaiah Stewart pick.
Right.
That it made it make sense more because now you're like, if they acquire 14 or 15 or they acquire 7,
big expense.
I feel like that Shaedon Sharpe selection isn't completely out of the picture because now you have 2 picks instead of just 1. Like, you have to bank on that 5th pick. So I get why they wouldn't take him at 5, but if you have 7 or, like I mentioned, if you have somewhere in that top 10 to 13, hey, if Sharpe's there, baby, you know what to do.
Hey.
You know what to do.
You know what to do.
Hit that. Call them up. Call the commission up.
2
you know
phones.
What to do. 2 phones. Yeah, for both picks.
Like,
give me Jaden Ivey.
Special.
Give me Keegan Murray.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, you know, man, the more and more I'm looking at the prospects of it, the more and more we get into these draft picks. You know, I like to relate these things to Cade. I know we were looking at this from the standpoint of the Cade zone and how these people would fit if we want more of a 3-point shooter or more of a athletic, just freak of nature, which is what we believe Jaden Ivey can be in this NBA, in this league. I do believe he has the ability to have an arc similar to Donovan Mitchell. I really do. I believe Jaden Ivey is going to come into the league and shock people with how much better he can shoot than they thought.
Right.
I believe that he's going to shock people with how much better he can get to his spots on the floor. Not that he's going to come in and be some world beater. It's going to be like Dwayne Casey said with Cade Cunningham. You're going to see nights where guys are scoring 2, nights where you see guys scoring 18.
Yeah.
That's just how it goes in the NBA. And we saw that happen with Cade Cunningham. And when he got used to it, yeah. And I think the most comforting aspect of Jaden Ivey's game is what you stated. Cade Cunningham can come off the floor for another off-ball player. For, you know, if we have a absolute bucket getter on the bench, or say if you want to go big and bring in Marvin Bagley,
Right.
when you're talking about the different lineups and the matchups that you can do, slide Jaden Ivey over to the main ball handler and bring in another big when you want to go big, or bring in another shooter when you want to bring in a shooter to let Cade get that rest, especially if he hasn't figured out the foul trouble.
Right.
You know, I just, oh man, dog, the basketball just mind in me. You know, I know it in you as well, and you guys too. Start thinking on it, because that's when Jaden Ivey becomes just that pick for me.
Oh yeah, me too. Like him and Killian. Like you have the uber athleticism, then you have the Killian who can kind of read the floor, be the floor general, but then you also have Jaden Ivey who can make plays also. Like, and I really believe this, and we'll revisit this if I'm wrong, but I feel like Jaden Ivey is going to be. He was already good off the ball, but I think he can excel. I think if he plays with Killian or Cade, I think he's going to be even better. Yes, you want the ball in his hands, but if you can improve his three-point shot, I can't wait to see the fit.
Yeah, and with his athleticism, you don't need the ball in his hands. With playmakers like Killian and Cade, and
he just has to know when
Jerami
to cut to the basket, back cuts. He could just, as long as you teach those fundamentals in him, playing off ball, he'll be fine. He'll get buckets, man.
Dog.
He'll be just fine.
He's gonna be fine. He's gonna be fine. And I'm getting excited. See, don't do this to me, man. Don't set me up for this. Now I'm sitting over here hoping
Killian,
that it's Jaden Ivey,
full court
man.
passes.
Because you know what, for real, the one thing that they're working on with Killian, they want him to be able to also be really, really good at off ball. And where does Killian shoot better? When he has the ball in his hands or off ball? Catch and shoot situations.
Bingo.
So when you bring in a Jaden Ivey who can get into that NBA spacing, you have to even think about stuff like this. The Pistons run a lot of sets like this. And I can't wait till we get closer to the season, actually into the summer. We're going to get into more breakdowns into how these guys play, how they fit, what they're working on, all that. They do a lot of sets where Killian will dribble the ball up the court, pass it to somebody, cut in like he's going to go down the middle lane, come back out and get it, or dart out to the right like he's about to get it and then cut into the lane.
Yeah. When
you have a player like Jaden Ivey and Killian Hayes, two guys that you can kind of work that off of each other, that's when it becomes key. Killian coming down, passing it to Jaden Ivey, making a fake cut into the lane, coming back out and getting it, and Jaden Ivey going in. That type of stuff, that type of motion, that's what gets defenses kind of standing up. As soon as the defense stands up, you know what Killian's doing? Lob.
Yeah.
As soon as the defender, as soon as they look at what's going on here, what's the switch, what's this, that, the dribble handoffs between the two of them, I'm telling you, because Killian can get to a spot. He just has to be able to finish. Learn to finish, bro. We see him when he get mad, when De'Aaron Fox made him mad. Look at those highlights, people. When De'Aaron Fox made him mad, he started throwing him down into the post and everything. So, yeah, I know we talking a little bit about Jaden Ivey, but we had to pose that question. I like Keegan Murray. I like everything he brings to the table, but I like the versatility that Jaden Ivey brings to not just the starters, but to the overall lineup, man. Yeah. I think it works.
That's you hit it right in the head.
Yeah, look, before we close up here, we got to get into our rundown, our NBA focus. And as always, we got one half of our from half court representation, our NBA representation here at Woodward Sports. And look, I tried to tell you guys on the Woodward Pistons Table Talk. I tried to tell them. I think that you might have been logged off by then. I tried to tell them when it was just 2-1 Celtics. Guys, the Warriors are uniquely built for this specific situation. Yeah. And what did we see? We saw Steph Curry go out there and match the point totals of Brown and Tatum. We saw Poole, go out there and look fearless. Yeah. In Boston. We saw some of these other guys really go out there and hold weight. With Boston, some of the upstarts that they've been depending on, they didn't necessarily pan out, but it was still a tough, close fought battle. Yeah. I still believe this thing is going 7. But, man, what are your thoughts? Man, what are you seeing?
I have been enjoying these finals. I love the matchup. I think Golden State hasn't faced a team that has a fan base like Boston. Like, they just haven't been to an environment like that. And I think that's really had an effect on them. You've seen it. They won one game, of course, but besides that, and Steph had a monster game. But besides that, like going back to Boston for Game 6, I think it's very possible they go to 7. I picked the Warriors in 6, so I'm kind of greedy. I want them to win this next game because then I'll be right. But I'm impressed with the Celtics. Like, and people want to say they're, Tatum this, Tatum that. Tatum is slowly going through that process right now, and every player hits that, when you're 24, that you hit this, you go into the playoffs. Now he got his team to the finals, and then he has, a couple, inefficient nights. He still scores 20, but he won't shoot the ball efficiently, and everyone's like, Tatum needs to step up. He isn't a superstar. Well, of course, he's going through that process to become a superstar. Like,
and his team is going through the process of learning how to support and play with a superstar.
Exactly. Like Tatum a year or two from now might be a killer in the playoffs. Like right now, he's going through that process. They made the finals with a team with a first-year head coach. Yes, he's won rings, but still, like, what they've done in Boston, and next year, you have to think, too, the Bucks are going to get better. A lot of teams are going to be better in the East. The East is the new West. So this is the year to capitalize if they want to win, if I'm Boston. But with the Warriors, though, like, to your point, you brought it up, Wiggins has been the second-best player. Like, and I'm talking, we can talk about it. He's just been consistent. Defensively, he picks up Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum. Clay is waking up, and we might see Game 6 Clay next game, which is a scary, scary sight. And if you got Draymond playing a little better, you just need something out of Draymond. Like, and everyone gives Draymond crap for, and trust me, through 3 games, I think he had 15 points and 15 fouls. Like, look, you can't do that, Draymond.
Rod, how do you feel about that?
But look at him, he's like, oh hell no, he wouldn't play on my team. But with Draymond, he just had to play a little better. He doesn't have to score 20. I mean, he just can't play like that and get fouled out. So the Warriors are just better, in my opinion. They're more experienced. They're battle tested. Steve Kerr has done a great job making adjustments, which I'm impressed about, because a couple games ago I sat there and I was like, what is Steve Kerr doing? Like, is he going to make adjustments? Next game, he played Wiggins 43 minutes. I'm like, all right. And then he got in different lineups. He found a way to, get Jordan Poole in the game, keep Wiggins in the game. He made sure that when you take Curry off the floor, that whatever lineups in the game doesn't get outscored 25-12. You know what I mean? You got to keep it close for Steph to get back in the game. So I'm going to say Warriors win next game just because I want to be right. But again, man, if Boston wins the next game and it goes 7, this has got to be the best finals I haven't been this invested in a finals since probably when LeBron came back down 3-1. That was probably the one finals besides, in years past, because KD joined, and then you're just sitting there watching. You're like, man, this team's just going to beat everybody's ass. Yeah. And then they faced Toronto, and then Toronto, you're like, all right, well, everybody's injured. So, it is what it is. And now you get to this point, and you're like, 2 evenly matched teams, could go 7, 2 great head coaches. The games have been neck and neck. Yeah. And as an NBA fan, I'm spoiled.
Yeah, and it's also
really
because, where people underestimated the Warriors? Their defense.
Yeah. What do they say? Their Boston's defense, number 1 in the league, number 1 in the league. Who's number 2?
Bro, listen, at the end of that game, this is what, and I said this, and other people have said it too, and I know that Warrior fans are probably saying it too. Man, everyone keeps talking about Klay Thompson, man. We just need his offense. We need his offense. We need his offense. We need big time, big game Klay and all this. Did anybody see Klay's defense in the last 5 minutes of the game? Strapped
up.
Dog, I saw the Warriors be able to go and put Klay man-to-man on Brown and just absolutely took him out the game. Be able to play Wiggins man-to-man on Brown. Be able to play Tatum man-to-man, straight up. Forced him into bad shots, into tough shots. And that's all you need. With the Warriors, they're murking and muddying up the game just enough, because in the last 5 minutes of the game, which is considered clutch time, by NBA stats and measurements, who do you want? Who's going to win?
Right.
Who's going to win, Steph Curry or everybody else? You're taking Steph for the field. That's the Warriors' game plan. That's their game plan. And when it got to those last 5 minutes, it was, okay, yes, do the Celtics have a couple players that can potentially get busy in Brown and Tatum? Yeah. But my goodness, how do you bet against Steph Curry?
Can't.
That's what it's going to boil down to.
He's on a mission.
He's going to have to win this MVP. I saw Ashton say something funny like, bro, it'd be funny if they gave the MVP to Wiggins. No, I'll be
another
cracking
Iguodala
up.
Situation.
I'll be cracking up. But no, this from the beginning, this is what it's been. This is Steph Curry's finals to win or lose. It's his finals MVP to win or lose. The reason why I said 7 games, I wanted to say 6, but it's because, like you said, bro, I don't want to disrespect these Boston Celtics.
I can't do it. It's tough.
They are tough as hell. They are they're just dope, man. And with how we're talking about building our team, I want the Pistons to be able to carry the same type of mojo that they have. I don't even want to call it swag. They got kind of their own little vibe going on, man, that just seems interconnected and reminds us, we know when we see it as Pistons fans, because we've seen that same type of connectedness amongst our teams.
Oh, absolutely.
So, yeah, I think I still got it going 7. I believe Boston musters up something here at home and really, really, really drives this thing home in a tough, tight, close fought game. But
I got the Warriors winning. I said they'll win next game by less than probably 10, maybe 5. It'll be close, like a bucket or 2.
Yeah, I know Sean somewhere is probably pulling out his hair like, no, Boston. I get it, bro. I get it. And they could, man. But
they can still do it.
I think that's it.
Yeah.
Are we good?
Yeah, we had a blast today, man. A lot of good stuff we covered.
Yeah, I think we did. Rod, how was it, bro? That's his approval face now.
Yeah.
Definitely. But, hey, look, next time we're going to talk about some fun stuff. Hey, we're glad that everybody could join. Stay locked in.
Yeah.
Go back, look at some of the other prospect breakdowns as well. Look at some of the table talks. Check out our Woodward Sports coverage. Check out the From Half Court. Obviously, you can catch Mr. Jeff Iafredi and Sean, the Magnificent. What are we going to call him?
I like that.
Sean the Magnificent.
I like that.
We'll call him that. Or comic. I called him Comic Sans the other day.
Yeah, Comic Sans. That's funny.
But hey, man, definitely, man, love you guys. We appreciate all the support. We definitely do. Let us know what you're looking to see on some of these future episodes as well.
Yes.
Hey, until next time, it's Woodward Pistons